And here we will use some quotes from the Gita, the sutras, as I said. So there aren't sutras, but we'll refer the thought process from Gita. So how to be free? Well, Karam Yoga is the process of getting us free from here, right? So one of the obvious things that people say is by not acting, right? So if I don't act, where will there be a reaction? But is that even possible? So Krishna in Gita says that's not possible. Basically, we are always acting. Even the mere act of drinking something, like Anand is doing, I am able to see, is an action. I am speaking is an action. Our mind is constantly in action, right? Where is Chitta Vritti is what we want to get to. But Chitta Vritti is not where we are. So we are always acting. We are constantly acting. So Krishna says, even I am acting. I am the Lord. I am the Supreme Lord. I run. My action is that I run this whole world. If I stop acting, the world will stop running. So I am also acting. So there is action is always there. So there is no situation where I am not acting. So by not acting, it is not possible. So what do we do? What is possible for us? This is where one of the most famous verses of Gita, chapter 2, verse 47. This is a lot of times quoted as the verse. Karmanya vadhika raste ma phaleshu kadachanam ma karm phal hetur bhur ma te sangovasta akarmani. So each Gita shloka has 4 components. So we'll see what this one actually means. So karmani ev adhikaraste. So I have the right only to action. Ev means only. Karmani ev adhikaraste. So karmani, I have the right to do action. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Never to the fruits of the action. Never to the result. I have the right to act. Never to the fruit of the action. Ma karmafal hetur bhur. So don't act. Ma means no. Usually ma in Gita is no. Karmafal hetu bhur. So don't act for the result of the action. For karmfal. Don't do your action. Your motivation to act should not be the fruit of action. So then what do? We will say we don't act. That's typically what happens. So he says, don't be attached to inaction also. Akarmani. Mate sangu astu akarmani. Don't get sangu. Don't get attached to akarmani. To not acting. So don't do that either. So this is very clear instruction on what we can or cannot do. We have the right to act. We don't have the right to the fruits of action. So one of the common things we mistake this as also sometimes saying that don't think about the fruits of action. He's not saying that you will think about the fruits of action. We do think if you do this, this will happen. That intention is always there. That has to be, that is the awareness that is required. But you don't have the right to it. Don't think if I thought that this will happen in this time frame, it will happen in this time frame. That right you don't have. You do as per that. You think, do, okay, this is what will happen, etc. But it may not happen that way. Be okay with that. That is what this is saying. This is not saying that you won't think about the fruits of action. You will. That's the very natural. But don't make that your motivation. That I will get this. That is the fruit of action. Don't do it for that. So how do we do? So if we can't do it for fruits of action, we can't be inactive. We don't do inaction. So what do we do? So that's verse 48. So that says, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjay siddha asiddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoguchyate. So this is also a definition of yoga. Samatvam yoguchyate. So Yogastha kuru karmani. Yogastha kuru karmani means yoga sthit. Yoga, let's say swast, like yogast. Do all your actions being steadfast in yoga, sthit in yoga. Perform actions, kuru karmani, by being steadfast in those. Sangam tyaktva dhananjay. So renounce, casting off all attachment to the results. Sangam tyaktva. Tyag do, sangam. Sangam is attachment, tyaktva dhananjay. So here he uses a name of Arjuna, which is the winner of wealth. Dhananjay means winner of wealth. So he uses a very peculiar name. Otherwise, there's so many names. Parth, Arjun. but in this place it's Dhananjay. So cast all your attachment off, renounce that, tyaktva. Then this is the key, siddha asiddhyo samo bhutva, which means siddha means success, asiddhyo failure, samo bhutva, experience them the same. So experience success and failure the same. Remain equipoised in some success and failure. And that is why samatvam yoga uchyate. So yoga is also called as equanimity, or equanimity is called as yoga. So one name of yoga is equanimity. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So this is the key formula on how to work. One of the key things. So if you see, this is the definition of yoga, karam yoga as a state. What is that state? State is of samatvam, of equanimity. So we do our action thinking of a goal in mind, thinking this may happen. We do our action, which is our right. We don't have the right to the result. So samatvam, success or failure, I will treat them the same. So when that action yields its result, accept it as both, samatvam, with success or failure. So whatever is happening, pain, sorrow, joy, pleasure, treat them the same. Samo bhutva. Try and treat them the same. To me, this is like a rubber band actually. It stretches both ways in the same strength. So the more happy we become, the more sadness we see when there is sadness. So it is about reducing the tonality of it. The samatvam. Samatvam is not about not experiencing them. It's about reducing the tonality, reducing the stretch. So when we become happy, we become so happy, we'll last it for 4 days, 3 days, we'll do this party, then next we celebrate it with that. The same happens when then sadness comes. Because the tonality is the same. So we experience, it's a blip, we move ahead. Be it happiness or sadness. That's how, what this is saying. That's the path of Karam Yoga. Casting off all attachment. That's when we reach that equanimity. So these 4 sentences, very potent. One definition. So this is a very important definition of yoga also. Just like yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodh we have from Raj Yoga, from Karam Yoga. This is one of the key definitions we have. Equanimity. The other, the process of Karam Yoga. So that's verse 50. So these are some very potent verses. Here again, there is another definition of yoga. So he says, buddhi yukto jahati iha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmat yogaye yujyasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. So yoga is karmasu kaushalam. When I do a action, when I act skillfully. So it's not skill in action. It's not like can I weave a sweater very well. It's not that skill. It's the skill of Karam Yoga. It's a skill of acting in a way that karma doesn't attach to me. That is yoga. So yoga karmasu kaushalam. And what is that skill? The above 3 tell us. Buddhi yukto jahati iha. So buddhi yukto. Yukto is again yoga, right? Yuj. We say join. Being steadfast in wisdom. Buddhi is our Vijnanmay Kosh. Buddhi is our Vijnanmay Kosh. So being steadfast in wisdom, being steadfast in our Vijnanmay Kosh, in our Swa. Ubhe sukrita dushkrite. So renouncing both, surrender both good deeds and bad deeds. Sukrite, dushkrite. So don't think you are doing a good deed or bad deed. You are just doing a deed. Renounce both. Become an instrument. Tasmat yogaye yujyasva. So devote yourself to yoga with this attitude. So don't think I am doing a good deed or bad deed. I am just doing a deed. Surrender both. Surrender the dualities. Both the dualities, good deed, bad deed. That is a duality. So surrender them. Being steadfast in wisdom. Look at that oneness, that yoga. Devote yourself to that oneness. And when we work with that, that is the skillfulness in action. That is the definition of yoga. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. So these 2 definitions of yoga are as important as chitta vritti nirodha. I can say samatvam yogacchate and yoga karmasu kaushalam. But yoga karma kaushalam is very important to understand in the context also, because otherwise people think just skillful action is yoga. Skillful action is not yoga. In fact, we'll see that it is the act of acting in a way in karam yoga, that skill of working in equanimity, of working by surrendering both good deeds and bad deeds, not thinking you are doing a deed. So remove that I-ness from it, that I am doing this. That is the skill. That is the process of Karam Yoga. So this is the definition of Karam Yoga as a process. We saw in the previous one, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate is the state. Samatvam is the state. This is the skill. This is the process. By removing the I-ness, I didn't do this. It happened. I am an instrument. And here it combines well with Bhakti Yoga also, right? Because you are an instrument in whose hand? That's where our divine ideal, Ishwar, the object of our love, I am an instrument in his or her hand, or that hand, in that concept's hand also. I am an instrument in truth. If you have taken truth as your ideal, then I am an instrument of truth. So whatever I am doing is in service to truth. Whatever I am doing is in service to whatever deity, if I have chosen a deity, if I have chosen a concept. So whatever that is, that's what the process is. So I'll just summarize the two tools. The first is equanimity. And equanimity is most important. The duality is in success and failure, because that's where we lose our sense of balance or equanimity in both, in success as well as in failure. So what do we do specifically? Drop attachment to results. It's saying Sangam Tyaktava. So drop the attachment, drop the desires, renounce the result, and experience both of them in the same way. That's a simple formula. Experience success and failure in the same way. Both. So create a very neutral, whatever comes, but don't stretch it. Remember the rubber band. The more you stretch it this side, the more it will go this side also, eventually. The second is surrender. Be an instrument, right? Be fixed in wisdom. I am the instrument is the attitude that we cultivate in this. That I am the instrument of whatever. So surrender that attitude of I am doer. So here an important fact is just, if you see ahankar, the word ahankar actually literally translates into aham kar. Aham means I, kar. So it's I do. So when we say ahankar ko tyagna hai, or we have to surrender ahankar, it literally means surrendering this attitude that I am the doer. That this body is the doer, this mind is the doer. No, the soul doesn't do. And I am the soul. So I am not the doer. I am an instrument. Cultivating that attitude. So these are the two ways, in inside out, like from top down or from our core, the attitude that we can cultivate, that results in that Karam Yoga. So when we do things with this attitude, right, when we are doing things in equanimity, with surrender, being an instrument, then the karma doesn't get attached to us. Then the soul is getting free from karma. So all my future actions, all my actions today, if I do with this attitude, there is no future. The future I create is of freedom, because I am not creating new results for me. I am not creating new bondage for myself. I am an instrument. This is the role that has been given to me at this stage. That's why I am doing that role. That's what these two tools are about. And obviously all of you know where the Gita's setting is, right? Bhagavad Gita is message of Krishna to Arjuna, where he's saying, I can't fight this battle anymore. And if you read the Gita, the first chapter and first 9 verses is eloquent logic given by Arjuna on why he can't fight, why it is morally wrong to kill your kinsmen, etc., etc. So it's a very logical argument given by Arjuna, and that's where this happens in chapter 2 upfront only. Krishna is telling, don't fight this battle to win or lose. Fight this battle because it is to be fought. It is your dharma. Don't be an instrument right now. Don't think you will be killing them. Don't fight for success or failure. Fight. And we'll come to that in the next one a little bit more as well, because that's the outside in tool that also comes up also in the Gita. Yes. Seeing if there are people. If the mind is without fear. Yes. Yes, Priya. Exactly. The attachment to the result that creates a cycle of action. Yes. So what is attaching? Attachment of result and attachment of the doer bhav. That I am the doer. Both are linked. It is only when we attach ourselves as the doer do we even experience it, right? Because then we are only saying, I am the doer, so give me the result of this action. We are signing up for it. Na? What this is saying is, you say I am not the doer, then you won't get the result. We want to be the doer because we expect good results. We expect positive things. We expect success most of the times. So we think, okay, so I am the doer, I'll get the success. But along with it, always, no action is just in some ways good, what is known as. Actually, that said, no action is good. Even the task of speaking, I am affecting the microorganisms around me, right? So it might be good for everyone, for me, for all of you, that there is some exchange of information, but for the organisms, microorganisms, it's not good. Their life is getting disturbed. So in every task, there is some other task. So the only way we can be free from it is by saying, I am doing it as a service, as an instrument, and whatever result comes out of it, we deal with it with equanimity.